Derek, semi-final week's finally here. Does it feel like there's a special atmosphere around Rugby Park ahead of Saturday?
Well, it should do. I think for the players, we've asked them, even from the dressing room on Saturday at Celtic Park, we wanted to make sure this was a week we wanted to enjoy and relish and see the opportunity that's there, and I feel that is the case. I feel you can always feed off the players, you know, whether you've won, lost or drawn on the Saturday. We always want to come in with a bit of a bounce and ready to go again and set about the work. So we've looked at things we could have done better, things that we felt we were really pleased with, but we quickly move on, and it's unusual you play the same opponent again, so there's a lot of references still from the game on Saturday, but I think the mood in terms of the kind of the actual what's ahead of us, you know, everything everybody's just looking forward to it. You know, we've earned the right as a club. We've earned the right getting through the group stages, playing Hearts, beating Hearts, Dundee United, and now this is the reward for it. But we want the reward of winning the cup. We want to go to the final and be 90 minutes away from a final. So it's important that while we're going to enjoy this week, there's a job to be done at the end of it, and you know, that's our job, to try and be as clinical as we can be, as professional as we can be, and as good as we can be come Saturday. So the working week's a huge part of that, of course. The preparation, I'm confident that how we work, the players will be fully aware of the detail and how we want to approach the game. But from a player's psychology, you know, it is something that you want them to be relishing, rubbing their hands at the prospect of what's ahead of us. The rewards are fantastic, and that's what you work towards.
You touched on it there, but generally speaking, how are preparations going this week? Do you tend to find that players are doing an extra couple of laps of the pitch after training, or flying into tackles trying to impress?
A few extra press ups in the gym, and you know, I think it's the players are no daft. You know, I think you know, they know it's a big game. With the reserve game on Tuesday, which we included a lot of the players in that. Kyle Lafferty getting some minutes as well. So the group's been a wee bit kind of split this week in that sense yet. I think the players should see every day as an opportunity to impress. I always say to my players, training is an audition, really. Every day you've got to try and impress and put your best case forward, and there probably is maybe the players on the daft will probably have an idea roughly what the team would look like, but there's still obviously a few issues to contend with. The team's no picked yet, so while the team isn't selected, I'm sure every day players will be doing all they can to get in the team, but that's normally the case anyway.
That was what I was going to ask you about, actually. How far in advance do you have the team in your head? Is it in the kind of briefly in your head at the start of the week, or do you give people a chance to impress in training?
I had a team in my mind for before we played Celtic in the league. I had a team in mind Saturday night. A more experienced manager than me once told me never pick your team on a Saturday night after a game, but I've got an idea of what the team, what it will be. But in terms of naming it, we normally name that on a Friday before the game and go through our preparation for that. You know, in some games recently we've had a few late fitness tests, players with strains and illness, and that sometimes can jeopardise it, and that may well be the case again this week. Hopefully not. We can just be on the ball, name our team Friday, get the players prepared properly, go through all our set plays, all the detail, and then it's about trying to take that onto the pitch and give ourselves the best chance. My job and the staff's job really is just to give the players the best chance of winning the game, and we'll try and do that. And when you play against teams like Celtic with huge attacking threats, it's getting the balance between attacking and defending. But we know if we can defend as well as we can and what we're capable of, and if we can show more composure and possession and try and pick the right passes, then we have got the opportunity to cause any team problems domestically.
So how much does last week's match impact how you approach this one? Is it a case of taking the positives from that first half performance and just trying to instil as much belief in the players as you possibly can, really? Yeah,
I think you've got to. As I say, it's quite unusual playing the same opponent so quickly, and we were mindful of that going into the league game. But there'll be more different players will be available to us than they were in the first one. You look at performance, of course. That's always something that you look at in terms of how you pick your team selection. So, you know, there was a lot even in the second half we were still pleased with. It was only really the last 5-10 minutes we got a bit bedraggled, and with too many changes, that attention to detail became a wee bit less structure, I think. unfortunate for us, and they could have scored a couple of goals more, which would have been harsh on us. But you know, I think there was a lot in the game that we were pleased with. We've got to obviously see it as a semi-final. It's an opportunity. We don't want to let the game bypass us and the opportunity bypass us. So we'll try and be as positive as we can be with the team selection. Hopefully as positive as we can be with the performance.
Yeah, and listen, every single Killie fan knows the size of the task that lies ahead Saturday night. It's a task we've done before. How much have you heard about that 2012 Cup run over the past couple of weeks?
Not so much over the last couple of weeks, but obviously the Hall of Fame, we integrated Kenny Shields into it, rightly so, at the end of the season at the awards dinner, and you know, that was a reminder of what was done. Kenny spoke about the build up to it, the actual how the game played out, and how so many things go into try to overcome a strong opponent. You know, Killie were a really established Premier League team back then. Loads of Premier League players and the like, and you know, Celtic, I think this Celtic team are as strong as we've been, as they've been over the last few while, but I still feel that we've got enough in here in the dressing room to take confidence from getting a result. The evidence is there with Kenny's team and Kilmarnock's team in the past to take inspiration from. I think every Kilmarnock supporter, every player playing on the pitch, member of staff will take that as well. So nobody the biggest shock in the world for Kilmarnock to beat Celtic in the Scottish Cup in semi-final. It won't be. The odds are against us, and the bookies will tell you that, and nobody will really give us any real hope. But I think from within here, and hopefully within the support, there is a quiet confidence that we can upset the odds and go and do a job and get the job done. It's semi-finals are normally fraught with anxiety, a lot of tension, normally don't get a lot of games, people scared to make mistakes. We've got to try and be brave enough to set about the task, but you know, tactically we'll try and be spot on. Physically we'll need to be strong, and we'll need to be full of running to match this team. But mentally is the biggest part. When you get into these types of environments, a lot of my players haven't played at Hampden before, a lot of my players won't have played in a semi-final before, and it's the mental part of it that I think we are going to have to make sure we are really strong on Saturday, and it's our job to give them the belief, and hopefully with the supporters on the ground, everybody right behind the players, then they'll see this as a real opportunity to get themselves and the club to a final.
Like I've just said there, look, it's essential that there's belief both on the park and in the stands. On that note, what would be your message to the supporters ahead of kick-off on Saturday? Listen,
we see it as a shot. We've earned the right to get to Hampden and take on this opportunity. Normally when you have to go and win a cup, you've got to take on one of the old firm. That's normally the way. We have come up newly promoted. We always want to be a strong cup team going forward. This is where even in the Scottish Cup we want to go as far as we can. This gives us an opportunity to get the club in the final for the first time in a while, and we are going to do all we can to deliver that type of performance. So hopefully we can be looking forward in next month or whenever it is for the cup final. I haven't even looked when the final is. It's just dealing with this one, and we feel we've got a performance in us. We've got the players here to get the job done.
Just very finally, supporters are always really keen to hear these things. As a manager, what do you do the night before a massive match like this? Is there kind of late minute additions you make to your kind of game plan or anything like that? Is it all preset at that stage?
I think I've always had the same adage as a player. I like to get home early afternoon on a Friday, because normally the work's done. I like to get home early, shut the door, and that's me home, and just try and relax. There was times when, you know, when you've got decisions to make, sometimes, you know, in the past I've always maybe slept on it and woke up with my gut feeling on the day, but I've changed a wee bit recently. I quite like the thought of a good night's sleep on a Friday night, so I like to have the team settled and picked. Obviously there can be things thrown at you that you've got to deal with and adjust to, whether it's fitness tests, illnesses, call-offs. Sometimes Saturday morning with call-offs and things like that, so you've got to try and prepare. But a Friday night is normally door locked early afternoon, and in the house Friday night just relaxing and taking confidence that the work's done, and then it's all about, as I say, know what to peak too early and overthink things, and just try and get up Saturday morning looking forward to the game. I quite like an afternoon kick-off more than a night. The day can seem so long when it's a night kick-off. So we're in that little mid part, 5:30 kick-off, which is unusual. So there's a wee adjustment that side. But I like getting up early, getting to work and getting on with the job in hand. So looking forward to it. Not been at Hampden for a couple of years now, and looking forward to seeing the support there. Looking forward to seeing my players perform. You know, it will be a test and a challenge, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they adapt and cope and deal with the game, because semi-finals not just dealing with the game. It's not just about being a good player to win semi-finals. It's been about good in so many other aspects, and you know, the mental part of it's huge on that side of it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how my team deal with the game, deal with the situation, and hopefully come the end of it, we're celebrating with the supporters and family. Looking forward to the final.